into it, today's session, we're actually going to be focused on Outlook in the main. So, so what I want to cover off is just thinking about how you use Outlook, covering off your inbox views, working with email folders. So I like to customize your inbox views. I'm going to show you how to do that, and then work with folders and search. I reckon that's about as far as we'll get, but let's see if we get some more of this other stuff, we will, but I think that was going to cover most of it off for us. So, so just a couple of things on emails. I don't know your experience, but I suspect, I did ask this question in the last group, of group one, that is, most people are getting more emails, right, than they were getting after we've been working from home, because of, we've lost that ability to just, duck next door and ask a quick question. They're becoming emails, although I would encourage you to think about using Teams chat or just chat for that sort of stuff. But one thing that I would encourage people to think about is not use your inbox as your to-do list. Try and check emails at certain times, maybe even block times out for it, and as I say, shift internal email conversations maybe to Teams rather than Outlook. Even though I'm a great fan of Outlook, I think there are better ways. I think Teams provides, for internal conversations, provides a little bit more context. So your inbox isn't really a to-do list. A lot of people just use their inbox as a to-do, so just start their inbox and just move down. But I actually want to encourage you to think about using your to-do list as your to-do list. So what do I have to do today? Create a list. You can do that in Outlook. I just think it's less proactive. If you use your inbox, you're going to be quite reactive, because you're just going to react to the latest thing that drops in your inbox. Whereas if you start with your to-do list, then you should be focused a bit more on what's important. And you might just consider this, are we over-serving with email? By that I mean, are we responding too much to email? Now, certainly certain emails are important, I agree, but you might just be interested in this. They did a survey, was it 2019, sorry, not 19, 2019. And what they surveyed basically is to see when people expected a response. So they surveyed like 1,500 people, and people could choose one of 4 responses. When do you want a response? When you send an email immediately, within an hour, longer than an hour, as long as it's within 24, longer than 24, but long as it's within 48, or 48 hours. So here's what people said. 16% of people expected an immediate response. So they sent an email, they expected an immediate response. 37% were happy with a response inside an hour. About 80% were happy with within 24. And it went down further than that, but that's enough for me. In other words, as long as you respond within a day, I think you're usually okay for 80% of people. I can't remember what the figures were for within 2 days, but generally speaking, that's my point. I've just worked with a lot of people who respond, who expect to respond immediately or think they should respond immediately, and I'm suggesting probably don't have to. So then the question is, when should you, check emails then? And I think hourly is not a bad thing. I think if it's an email, it probably shouldn't be, sorry, if it's urgent, it shouldn't be an email. And I reckon if you check on the hour, you're going to cover, most people. You're going to be within, most people's expectations, if you like. So check emails every hour or every couple of hours. I'm going to show you how I manage my email system, but, just try not to lose emails on your radar. I don't like emails going below the screen. That might be a challenge for you. But for me, I try not to let emails go below the screen. I try and, when I jump into my inbox, I think about processing emails. So process emails, I process them using the 4Ds, but I want to handle them once and use the 4Ds approach, which that's what I'm going to jump in and do now. And the 4Ds approach is not delete, 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 although you should delete, of course. So here's how I always sort of play it out. Delete emails you don't need, clearly. You should just delete things you don't need. If you want to keep it, deposit. So file it, in other words. If you can do it straight away, do it immediately, but then go back and deposit the email. The action you've taken should be done immediately. Once you've done it, deposit. If you need to take action on the email, like for instance, you respond to someone, but now you have to wait for them to come back, then the action has to be on the email you sent, not on the email that came into you. So the fourth D comes into play here, which is do it later. So what happens with those emails you're waiting a response, or the ones you can't respond, then you should do later. But I'm going to show you how to schedule to do them later so you don't forget. And so I'm going to jump into Outlook and show you basically how I've set up my inbox, as I've set it up slightly differently. This is not my inbox, by the way, that's Teams. I'm just jumping back to that. So I'm just going, this is I've got a few email accounts, but this is my inbox, my training inbox or training advice inbox. But I want you to see how I've set this up differently. A lot different to how usually people set up their inbox. So you can probably, when I'm running live, I ask questions, of this, but it'll take too much time here. So just for the sake of time, see the differences here. If I jump, I'm going to change my view back to the standard view, right? So I'm going to go to view, and I'm going to change my view to compact view, which is the out of the box, standard out of the box. That's what it looks like. So what this really is, and these are, old emails, I'll expand them all out, but what this view is really doing is showing you, and actually there's one more little thing that usually I have in here, and that's the first line view, just in this folder. So what it usually says is, it's called compact view. So who it comes from is at the top, the subject comes under that, and then the first line is next, and so on. But and then of course you've got your reading pane, and you've got this to-do bar, which you may or may not see. All right, I'm going to show you how to use that to-do bar in a moment. And the to-do bar, by the way, is my to-do list. So your Outlook to-do list can be, your Outlook to-do bar can be your to-do list. And that's pretty much how I would suggest you set it up. Rather than setting it up in this way, I try and set it up by changing my view. I've got a number of views, and I'll show you how to save these as different views. So that's the different view. Helps, if I go to my live inbox, and I'll jump back in here, but even then I've got more on probably there, but that's how I basically keep it here. So I want to show you how to set this up and walk you through this setup. If you've got any questions, throw them in the chat. I'll just talk through. And then I'm going to get you to save this view so that you can always jump back. So the first thing I would suggest is go to view in your ribbon and go across to change view. And instead of compact view, change it to single. Change to single line view. That'll immediately change a few things, but not everything yet. So we're changing to single first. Now, if we come back right across to the right-hand side, the next thing I would do is, let's just go to message preview first. Let's turn message preview off. So it will be on one line or sometimes two. So if you turn it off, it'll then, you can sort of see how messy that looks straight away. If you turn it off, I turn it off all mailboxes, but it's completely up to you. You see how it simplifies the view straight away. So no message preview, turn that off, all mailboxes. And the reason I do that is to avoid information overload, because we're all taking in so much information, you can't possibly deal with all of it. You just want to deal with the subject. If you want to glance at it, you can, but I'll show you another way. And then I'm not a fan of using the reading pane. Now, this is a bit of this sometimes throws people a little bit, but you notice I cannot see this email, but because I turn off the reading pane. So down across in the right-hand side under your layout section, try turning the reading pane off. Once again, I think on that one, I think it just turns it off. I don't think there's any. So that's it there. When it's on, turn it off. And the last thing I would do is turn your to-do bar onto tasks if you haven't already got it there. If you've already got tasks on, sometimes it is on by default, although it's, and hopefully we get time to just show you how to use this. So you can see I've customized my to-do bar big time. So is everyone right with me there so far? The next thing I would suggest you do in this view, and then we'll save the view, is go up to conversation settings here, or conversations, where it says show as conversation. Just check that box. So I'll just turn mine off. Just show as conversation. Click it on. It'll ask you do you want to arrange conversations in just this folder, all mailboxes? It doesn't matter which one you go. I tend to go all mailboxes, but it doesn't really matter. And what that does, and I need to jump to my proper mailbox, what that does is it actually creates a conversation view of emails in your inbox. Now, I don't actually have any there at the moment, so I'm just going to grab one and drop it into my inbox. So if I look at this here, you'll see there's actually a little triangle. So you might see little triangles in your inbox now, and that's indicating that there's a conversation happening. So if you left click on that, it'll actually show you the conversation history in your inbox. Now this is a very simple conversation. If I can grab a more complex one, you'll see how valuable it is, but you may even see it straight away on yours. If I just grab something that's a little bit more, yeah, maybe I'll grab this one. Oh no, this is a better one. I'll grab this one and drop it in to my inbox. So it's this one here. If I click on this one, left click on it, it actually shows me the conversation history. So doesn't matter what folder it's in, by the way. So you can see that this guy, Jeff, sent me an email. I responded. That's in sent items. He responded. I responded. He's now responded. And it doesn't matter what folder it's in, you'll see the history. And it gets really good, or becomes very powerful, rather, where you've got multiple people in that history. And what I love about this, by the way, is this little point. So if I'm looking for, Jeff's actually sent that thing. So we wrote an article together. If I wanted to catch that article, he's actually updated it, but I'd have to go and find that email from Jeff. Whereas here I can actually go, there's the email, click on that, that's the attachment. Open it up, it opens up. I found the attachment. As it turns out, he's sent it to me again, but that's can everyone see the power of that? It just, because what happens, of course, with emails, and this, I mean, I'm suggesting people use Teams because Teams does some other thing, but there's a workaround in Outlook, and this is it. And what it does is it allows you to see the conversation history in one place, because usually they could be months apart, particularly for some of the work you guys do. It could be months apart. You'll see it, and it doesn't matter what folder it's in. It's there, and you can go back down. So that's just a simple thing, but it's such a powerful, I've found that to be incredibly powerful and time saver. So now that you've got that view, by the way, the reading pane is the one that most people struggle with, by the way, because that can be a bit, I don't know, we're getting used to looking at the reading pane, but I tend not to use the reading pane because I find it just a little distracting. I'm always looking at what that last message was. And so that's why I don't do it. But that's a personal preference. I think there are psychological reasons why you might not do it, but Anyway, now what we can do is just save this as a view. So to save this as a view, go into view. We've just stayed on the view ribbon. Go to view, go to change view on the left and select save current view as new view. And it'll say copy of single, I think it'll say for you. And you just type your name or whatever, however you want to recognize that. Type that. That's your view now. And you can have as many views as you like, by the way. I've got different views set up for different things. And that now is your default view. And when you do that, you should select the option to apply it to other email folders as well. Got it? So that's how you apply it to other email folders. Although if you jump into another folder, you can just jump into that folder and then, come across here and select it. I have done it by default, but you can do it individually if you like as well. And if you're sharing a mailbox view, this only changes it for your view of the mailbox. It doesn't change it for others. If you're sharing it, doesn't change it for anyone else. So that's the view. So what I want to now do is go through really quickly how you can, in fact, I think I'm going to jump and do email folders and then we'll come back to the 4Ds. So I want to deal with folders. How do we deal with folders and search? So the two things, because that's where there's a lot of potential time saving here. So just really quickly, I link the email search, but I can't quite recall. Is your search above the ribbon or below the ribbon? Can't quite. Oh, thanks, Odette. So just let me ask this question. Is your search above the ribbon or below? Above? No, below. Below. Okay, cool. Got it. That's all right. So below the ribbon, that's all right. They've now changed it. So so Odette asked a question, how do you make that view apply to other folders? I thought I did. Yep. So let me just go in and do that once more. That can sometimes get a little tricky. So if I want to apply this view to other mail folders, click on that. It just gets a bit tricky here. You just basically select, can everyone see that? It's a bit small. I can't make it any bigger, unfortunately. Select the little arrow. I don't know why they made it so small. It's so small. Select the little arrow. Make sure you're down the bottom.
Sorry, Jeff, mine won't let me click on apply this view to other folders.
Okay, that's odd. I'm just checking, make sure mine will. You can see what I'm doing here, but it actually is not applying it for me either. So what's going on there? I think that's because I'd have to create a new view. So let me just go through and just see if I can apply this to all other folders. So I've probably already done it. I'm just going to do this again.
It's working now if I do it in a different folder other than my inbox. I don't know why.
Okay, all right. I've just said copy, apply. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's interesting. Oh no, it's doing it now. But you go to a different folder. So what I would do is go in here and just go change my view in here and view Jeff's inbox and apply that to, so maybe if I do it there, yes, you're right. So that's interesting. I don't know. I'm not sure who said that. But yeah, there you go. So that's, I'm not sure why it did. I've jumped into my dealing with dealt with folder and it's done it. You can do it there, apply that view. So apply it to another folder and then go in there. tick all the boxes and apply it that way. Make sure you apply to subfolders, view to subfolders. So I'm not sure why that didn't do it in my inbox, but everyone's right with that? Okay. So now folders. Let me ask a question. Do you think you have too many folders or not enough folders? Most people have too many, all right? Would that be fair? I know not everyone's got their video on, but my experience is most people have too many folders. And the reason we create folders is that we want to find emails later, right? So we file them away and we try and create quite an elaborate folder system or quite a detailed folder system to make sure we can find them. But actually, there's some powerful tools in the search that I think basically eliminate the need to have too many folders. So if you actually can use your folders as your search properly, it'll actually eliminate the need to have as many folders. So my folder system, I used to have like 100 odd folders. Now I've only got 7 folders. And that's because I search for email. I never jump into folders to try and find emails. I use the search, which for you is, as I say, but it essentially works the same, but it just looks different. Unfortunately, I can't demonstrate it on the old version, but I know how it works on the old version. So when you click, I want to show you a few things. When you click in search, so just click in search. What most people do when they click in search is just type a name, right? So you type a name in and maybe some name, training or whatever, and then hit enter. You might add whatever. I have to hit enter, but it actually then lists all the emails from that person, right? Sorry. Let's do that again. I just tried to get rid of my reading pane. It's annoying. It keeps coming back on. So there you go. So that's just Drew Davies. Now that's searching Drew plus Davies plus training, and there's a lot of emails. And you might then add a little bit more information here. So it might have been productivity or something like that. All right. And now it's narrowed it a little bit, but still too many folders, all right? Too many emails to go and search through. So I might add another word, but I want to show you a different way to do this. So when I click in search, when you click in search too, I'm just going to clear that search and do it again. When you click in search, notice how the ribbon changes. So if you can click in search and look at the ribbon, don't look at my screen because my screen's the old version, but in yours, it'll look different. All right, you're going to have, across the top, you're going to have from, subject, has attachments, categorized. You're going to have all these little search tools, all right? Can you all see that in the search? Yep. These are filters, actually, that you can use. So, for instance, if you click on from, so I can't demonstrate this straight away. I can put it up on a screen, actually. So I'll pop it up here because I've got a screen view of it. So if you click on from, it'll actually bring up from with a semicolon and then I think inverted commas, and you just type in a from, who you're searching for an email from.
My from is grayed out. There's a whole lot of the toolbar that's grayed out that you can't access. I don't know why.
Is that the same for everyone?
Yeah, mine too.
What?
Mine as well.
All right, so you're in your inbox, clicking there, and it's grayed out. Is that the same for everybody, or is some? Because I do see this occasionally, but I don't see it all the time.
Yeah, mine is grayed out too.
All right. Well, maybe there's no point going through that. That's really weird. is it worth just for those people where it is grayed out, can you just restart Outlook again? Just practice my IT help desk skills here, just in case. Sometimes restarting it can do it, but if that doesn't do it.
When I click into search tools, there's an option to upgrade my search. Do we need to do that?
Upgrade to latest search, does it say?
Yeah, to the latest version of Windows Search.
You could do later. That's what I've got, the latest version, but I'm not sure that's even, I don't think that's going to solve this problem. I could be wrong. So it's, given it's not working, you can do it. It won't harm anything, but I don't know how long it'll take. That's all. I just want to double check. Did that help, Anna, at all? No.
I restarted it and it didn't help.
Okay. All right. Thank you. All right. I'm not sure why that's the case. Maybe worth upgrading then to the latest one. All that does, by the way, is brings it up to the top here. And it gives you different functionality, but it actually pops it up the top. And you would definitely have to restart. So perhaps we're caught in the middle of, because when I did this with the first group, I don't remember this being a problem, but for some reason it's obviously a problem here. I'll show you how it basically works though, and then we'll go back to folders perhaps. Sorry, go back to your inbox.
I've just looked it up on Chrome, and it says the normal cause for that issue was a bug in Windows when upgrading from one major version of Windows to another.
So maybe that's...
During upgrade, Windows did not migrate the search registry settings.
Thanks, Anna. Yeah, well, it doesn't sound like we're going to solve that right now. So you could try the upgrade. Someone could try that. I just don't know how long it's going to take and whether it's going to fix it even. I don't know. But I guess it's not going to do any harm. But that just means then the search is going to be above. So what I wanted to show you was this. I wanted to show you how you basically use this search. These are filters that basically means you can click from, put a person's name in, subject, it filters another filter, and it actually finds it. So let me show you how this works. And then, so if I want to find, the first thing I do when I do this, by the way, is I get people to change, and you won't be able to do this, I suspect, because it's grayed out. But I get people to go, so I'll just do that for the video, and people can email me, so I've got a fact sheet on this. I go down to search options. So in my search tools, I go in my search window, go to search tools, search options, and I change my results from current folder and current mailbox to all mailboxes. And what that means is it doesn't matter, it's searching all mailboxes by default. And just so you know, the current folder would be your inbox. Current folder, but current mailbox, when you're searching from your inbox, would be your name at fls.com.au. Current mailbox would still be the same, but it wouldn't matter where you search, what folder you search in or from. All mailboxes, though, if you've got a shared mailbox, like I've got 3 mailboxes, it means it's searching those, my training one, my personal, everything. That's what these is. So I usually go with all, so it finds everything. And that way, when I do my search now, and in the new search, I can just show you the new one. It actually works like this in the new one. I can actually search all mailboxes. You can change it there anyway, but it's just the default. And I can go, instead of typing in Drew just at the top, I can just go Drew Davies. Now it's from Drew Davies, not from Drew and/or Davies. It's from Drew Davies. And the subject was, what did I say, training. Then I said productivity. And I actually added, and this is what I love about this, you can add something in the body, and I might add the body in the body curtain, because there was a client we worked with in WA a couple of years ago, curtain. If I hit enter or click the search, it actually will now find more results on the server, because I've just archived some things. Drew Davies curtain. Oh, I think I just stuffed something up there. Training. Oh, yeah, because I put productivity in there. Subject. So I'll just take the productivity out. It's probably thrown it a bit. And body was curtain. Yep. It's still not working anyway. Ah, well, I'm not having much fun today. But that search usually works every time when I do that. All right. So I can search different mailboxes, but my default now when I'm searching is to go basically in here. They've changed it, so I have to actually go in here and search just who I'm searching from. So I might try a simpler one. That's usually a good one because it's usually searching from years ago, and it might have something to do with insurance. So I'll just in the body. So what I love about this, as I said, it's in the body. I could put a subject in, but I'll just go with the body. And my search is not working. All right. Contents, insurance. I just know that we did this the other day, so I don't know why it's not working. Sorry, I may have to start Outlook myself. All right, so forget the search. I'll send you a fact sheet on how to do search, or I may pop it in our Teams chat, how to do the search. Hopefully you can upgrade to the latest search. And when you do, you'll just be clicking in the down arrow here to make it work. The other thing that and this works in conjunction with this here, is as a result of that, I've eliminated my folders. I've just basically, I've got a CC email now, but I've basically, these are the 6 folders I use. Everything goes in here. The big bucket I use is my dealing with, dealt with. So everything goes in here. When I finish with it, then I'll just use the search, and it's the first time it's ever failed me, but usually I'm just going to start Outlook again. I don't know. Didn't work for anyone else, so presumably it won't work for me either. But there might be some little glitch. I just did do an update on something, so perhaps that's it. Just got to try it one more time. See if it works first. Now it works. I don't know, there was some little bug. So it's working there now. And so what I was saying there before is the subject was training, but I could actually, refine that further by putting something in the body. Seems to be going to work now. Put curtain in there and search. And it usually will refine my search even further, but maybe training's not maybe it's not training in this case, because I usually use productivity for that search, but anyway. All right, so seems to have worked that time. That's what I normally sort of expect. So obviously I've got nothing with training and curtain in the thing, but I do have productivity with curtain. So that has worked, but yeah. So anyway, upgrade, hope it works. I've then would just start to see if you don't need as many folders, because what I've found with having too many folders is it takes too long to file things. So I use the Hicks principle, if you like, or Hicks law. And Hicks law basically states the more complicated you make things, the longer it's going to take to do things. So see if you can simplify that. But let me now go through the 4 Ds of managing your inbox and just give you some tools. And I'll just use my inbox. And effectively, the first one is obviously delete. So if you don't need an email, delete it. That's fine. There's no problem with that. Except that if you're deleting the same type of email all the time, don't forget to mark things as junk. So if I didn't want to see this from Microsoft Service anymore, remember you can go up to junk and block the sender. So that would then put it into junk, so you don't have to delete it anymore. Go straight to your junk folder. By the way, if things go into your junk folder, you can unblock it or never block sender, that sort of thing. But Then the second D is really deposit, and this is where it's a bit unfortunate. My search wasn't working as well as I'd hoped. Oh, yours is not working either. But and basically, once I've opened an email, which I had opened this one before, once you've opened it, read it, you don't need to. You want to keep it, but you don't need to do anything with it. Just drop it into your folder. So straight into your folder. And as I said, mine's now simple. I just throw it into one big bucket. It's called my dealing with or dealt with bucket. And that's where things go. So yeah, no, I don't have to think too much about it. In the past, what I used to have to do is actually scroll down and try and find which folder I wanted to file it in. And of course, then later I'd have to think, well, where did I file it? And this is where we waste a lot of time, by the way, filing, because you may misfile, but it's not really about misfiling. It's really, you might file, the longer your filing system, if you start filing in one folder, later you go to look for it in another folder because it could have been filed in either or folder. So it's got dual purposes, in other words. And so by keeping it really simple, I just basically throw them straight into that folder. That's my big bucket. That one in my reading folder is what gets 95% of my emails, those two. The rest of it I'm not too worried about. So that's deposit. And then the third D is do straight away. So that's easy enough. Do it immediately. If you can reply. The only thing that I add to this often is once you've dealt with it or you've handled it, then make sure you throw it back into a folder. Don't leave it in your inbox unopened. I have one here that I did open. So, but usually I'm pretty good. I usually don't open it and then just leave it there. I do something with it, but I may use this as an example in a moment for my fourth D, which is probably what I should have done here on this one. So the fourth D is what do you do with those emails that you open and you can't deal with straight away? So if I use this one as an example, this is yeah, my email. Okay, so so this email I can't deal with straight away. I better expand it out. I can't deal with it straight away, but I actually want to do something with it later. So this is where you have a few options, and this is what I want to unpack for you, the few options that you have. So I'm not sure how people track this. What I see most people do, by the way, is just basically mark it unread. Does that make sense? They mark it unread and then scroll up and down to find the ones that they haven't yet actioned. But what that's doing, though, is wasting a lot of time, particularly if you've got more emails in your inbox. You have to scroll up and down and find the unreads. Very quickly, though, you can use this unread filter up here. So if that's your system at the moment, I hope I can change that for you, but you can click on the unread. That just filters this. So you've got this all and unread in your above your inbox. So that just filters the unreads, and that would be all. So you can do that very quickly, so you don't have to search up and down to find the unreads. But here's what I would do. I keep it on all, but then I think, okay, well, I want to do something with that. You could create a set of folders here, which are basically your next action folders. That's one way of doing it. So rather than using them as filing folders, you could create, and I've seen, and there are some legitimate reasons why you do this in some cases, drop them into a next action folder, which could be I need to reply or follow-up folder or something like that. My next action, pop it in here. Create a set of folders, basically, which are next action folders. That's not something I do, but it's legitimate. What other little tool that I use a lot of is this one. If there's an email, and this might be not a good example, but I'll find one in here. Let's say this one here. I've got a meeting coming up this week, so I jump to my calendar. I've got a meeting coming up, let's say tomorrow. I'll just create a test meeting here on another page. So I've got a meeting coming up. it's in here, but I'm now getting emails related to this meeting. And this happens all the time, all right? So, and I want them in here. I'll just expand it out a little bit more. I want them in here. So what you can do is open that email, open that calendar appointment up, drop it onto another screen. So I'll just split my screen a bit here to make this easy to see. Jump into my inbox. Now let's say that this is the email here that's related to this meeting. What you can do is drag that email in and drop it. So it only takes a copy, by the way. So I might take, you can have as many. So I've just taken those last two and dropped it in here, maybe that third one as well, because they're all related to this meeting. So drag and drop in an open meeting. And I use this one all the time. If I've got a meeting, I want all my emails in that one meeting. Then that's a really useful way a quick way of doing it. By the way, if that's just related to that, let's say it's a meeting you've been invited to and you drop them in there, then no one else is going to see it. If I'm the meeting organizer though, and I don't update the meeting, no one else is going to see it. But if I update the meeting, then they will see it. So just remember that. So if I'm the organizer, I drop 3 emails in there and I want people to see them, then I'd update the meeting. This is not a meeting, so I can't demonstrate it, but I'd update the meeting, update attendees. You get the option, do I update the attendees or not? If I did, they'd see all those emails. But if even if I was the meeting organizer and I didn't update the meeting, it would ask me if I wanted to update it because I'm making changes to it. Say, no, I don't want to update it or advise anyone, just save and close it. But now when I access that meeting, I've got my emails. By the way, you can do that with Word documents, anything. Just drag it into that meeting. So I'm presuming not everyone knew about that, by the way. So I'm looking at Anna. I can only see Anna and a few others, but that's a really useful one. I'm using that one all the time. So now it's only a copy, all right? So now I can just delete that. I won't save my changes, so it's not in there. So here's another thing that you can do with that. So let me open this one up here. And so let's say in this case, actually, I want to create a new appointment out of this. So I look at this and think, oh, yep, I want to actually create a new one. So it's not an existing one. What you can do is with that, I've opened it, looked at it. I want to create my own, it could be a meeting, but it could also just be my own appointment. So I can drag it and drop it onto my calendar icon. And it opens up a new calendar event, which it just opens up as an appointment initially, but I could create that as a meeting now if I want, invite attendees, or I could just use it as, maybe there's a link in there I want to look at. So maybe I want to apply for some grant or something. So I just leave it in there and save and close it. Close it. Again, it only takes a copy. So, but now when I go to my meeting, so here it is here in the no, I'll just move it to another spot. When I open that up, all the links are active. It hasn't got all the text, by the way, all the formatting wasn't the same, but all the links are active. Okay. And again, it's only a copy. I'll just delete that one, so I don't need it. And just while I'm at that, you can do the same thing. You can create a task if you're into using tasks. You can do the same thing. So I could drag it down onto a task and instead of a meeting appointment, in this case, a task. I won't save that. Or one other thing you can do, and I've used this one a fair bit too, is let's say this person was a regular contact. It's not, but let's say it was. Onto people. And it'll open up, it's opened up on a different screen. And it's opened up here. Maybe this is the person's name. I know I can grab, maybe their phone numbers from here or whatever. Check out that, maybe that's their you know, I can drag that in. That's the company. And maybe there's a phone number down here I can grab as well. There's the mailing address, so I'll grab that, drop it into there. So now I've created a contact out of that email, and then I might not want the rest of this, so I'll just delete the rest of this. I've now created the contact. There's a lot there, but anyway, and I'm not going to save that. I'd save and close it, but I'm not going to. Again, just a copy. And the final thing that you can do, and this is, again, it's all trying to handle an email once, because if I did that, I'd then file that email and it's done with. But I'm sure you'll recognize this. Sometimes you're in a conversation with someone about setting up a meeting, right? So you're in the conversation, setting up a meeting, backwards and forwards. When are you right to meet? Yeah, Tuesday's good for me. How about this? Finally agree on a time. There's been emails bouncing backwards and forwards. This is what you can do. Again, I'll just use the same one. Open up the email. And now I actually want to create a meeting, because we've agreed on the meeting and we've agreed on the time. So what you can do is go up into your respond group of icons where you've got reply, reply all, forward. There's a little icon there. Mine says meeting. Sometimes it's, I think it says add, oh, sorry. Does it say meeting? Yeah. Okay. So sometimes they've changed it. Anyway, it sometimes says reply with meetings. Anyway, meeting. If you click on that, watch what happens. It creates a meeting out of that. Now it's a meeting and ready to invite someone. All right. So in fact, it automatically fills the sender as the meeting invitee. And the email is now actually formatted properly. So you can then, and by the way, in here, you'd have the meeting time and everything set. So you could set the meeting time and then send it. And because it's all formatted, they get a copy, I got a copy, we both see what we're going to meet about. I actually did this for someone I met yesterday, replied with meeting, and then it was really handy because I was rushed actually getting to the meeting. When I got, it was all online, but when I got there, I had everything I needed in front of me. Just open up the meeting invite, read down, 2-minute read, and I'm ready to go. So I just want to pause for a minute. Has anyone got any questions on that? That's a way of handling an email once.
Not a question, Jeff, but I just wanted to know if you're going to look at the tasks.
That's what I'm hoping to do right now, Anna. Yes. I think I just wanted to quickly pause, but yes, tasks is what I'm going to look at now. All right. Does anyone use tasks, by the way?
I try to.
Okay.
No, I don't.
All right. I'm going to show you how to use tasks.
I try to as well, but I don't do it very well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the thing with tasks is that it actually it's twofold. You can use tasks here, so this can get a little complicated, but this is your to-do bar, which you can customize. I'm going to show you how to customize this to-do bar. In fact, I'm going to simplify it a little bit, but you can customize this to have different columns. I'm just going to expand. So, but what goes in here is your own tasks as well as email flags. So any email you flag will go in this to-do bar. So when we did set that to-do bar up, by the way, or set the view up, if anyone had a lot of red in there, that means that you're probably using flags but not closing the flags out, right? So, so let's then look at this to-do bar. So yours will say arrange by flag due date in here. Yep. So if you right-click your mouse where it says arrange by flag due date, right-click there and go to view settings down the bottom. Okay. And it'll open up this advanced view settings to-do list. So what you now do is go into columns, and we're going to select the columns that you want to show. So in here, you'll see you've got a lot of columns already selected, but that you're not seeing them. And that's the issue. you can't see them. I'm going to show you how to make them visible, those columns visible. So the idea is that you grab from the left-hand side column and put them into the right-hand side column. So there's a lot of columns that you can use, all right? But we can keep this as simple or as complicated as you like. We'll go with simple to start with. I usually grab the ones, I suggest to people that they grab the grab icon first. So these are the ones I've found over the years to be quite useful. Grab icon and just drag it over to the left. You can either add, remove. Don't remove anything, by the way, just yet. We'll get rid of them in a minute. It's quicker if you just add the ones we want and then remove them in one hit. So add icon first. You can use add, remove. You can left click and drag them over and drop them or drop them back. Or you can actually just double click too. They'll jump over and jump back. All right. So icon. Let's grab priority. So scroll down, find priority, double left click. And then drag it up to under icon. So now you've got icon priority. Then find, forget total work. I'm just going to take that out. Find task subject next. That should be in your list, actually. It was already in the right-hand side. So just drag that up and get due date under task subject. So now you've got icon priority, task subject, and due date. The others are, after that, are optional. I use status and categories, but you don't have to. If you want to keep it really simple, just keep it like that. I'll just drag them out just for the sake of it and just double click on all the other ones that you don't need or add, remove. So you're left with at least these 4. But if you use categories, leave that in, it's up to you. Once you've got that, click OK. Just pause for a sec. Thank you for putting your video on, because then I can just watch if people are still concentrating. I know you're not quite done yet, so I won't jump off. When you're done, just put a thumbs up or do a virtual thumbs up if you like. Then I just knew to thank you. Thanks, Jennifer. Sorry, bit of a license there. Got it. Way, got that. How you going, Megan? All done?
I don't seem to have the same columns available. Mine seems to be a bit configured a bit differently. I'm looking at all task fields.
Yes. Go into frequently used fields.
Yep, cool.
Megan,
Sorry,
so,
now
yeah.
I found it. Yep.
Yep.
And
just
cool.
use frequently used fields. Most of them are in there. All the ones you want are in there.
Task.
But, yeah, Odette, was that you?
I've tried to do it, sorry, but my view just only has 2 columns now.
You,
just
when you say you tried to do it, did you jump past where I am here?
Oh, sorry. I did. I clicked OK. Okay.
Don't click OK yet. Just go back if you can, Odette, and just grab those 4. And don't, if they're already there, they're probably already there.
Yep.
Yep. And when you've got those 4 or whichever ones you wanted, click OK at this point and stay here on the screen.
Oh no.
This can be a little bit confusing, so apologise for that. I can send you a fact sheet on how to do this, by the way, so don't get too hung up on it. I'll put a fact sheet on how to do this. And you can come back and watch the video for those that are just struggling a little bit.
No, I accidentally reorganized my emails and not my task. Sorry.
Yes.
So anyway, I'll just start again.
Oh, Megan, I'll stick around. I'll help you get back. All right. Sometimes see that. I'm very careful to try and make sure that, but I didn't point out. Don't do it in emails.
No,
It's all right. Don't
It's my
worry.
fault.
I'll help you get back. So just watch the rest of it. All right,
I
Megan.
will.
Okay. By the way, there's nothing to stop you from doing it here. Just forget emails. I'll help you get back to that. So we've got the columns. I want you to go into group by next. Go into the group by box. Uncheck this column that says automatically group according to arrangement. Uncheck that. And in the first drop down, once that's unchecked, you can check due date. And press OK and stay at that screen. So we're going to group them by due date now, which is what I've got here. They're grouped by date. You can sort them by priority if you like. Let's not worry about that for now. Just leave the priority for now, but you can go into sort and sort them by priority. The only other thing I do find really important is to go to other settings, and under other options, oh sorry, there's two things here. Under grid lines and group headings, just
Sorry,
select.
I'm very lost too.
Okay.
I think I did what Deacon did.
Okay, will you stick around the call afterwards as well? I'll help you get, because I don't have to rush off. But other settings, for those that are with us, other settings, go into grid lines and group headings and select where it says no grid lines, select solid grid lines. And one more thing, you'll have under other options a little box check that says use compact layout. Just uncheck that box. It'll default to always use single line layout, and you can press OK and OK. So now what you'll end up with in the right-hand side to-do bar is the task, and they're grouped by due date all the way down. I've collapsed mine, so you just so it doesn't make it too complicated. But the grouping here, by the way, is anything that's got no due date goes to the top. So there's no due date. If you flagged something without a due date, it'll go to the top. And then anything red is overdue will go next. And then they'll go by due date after that. So to create then a task here, and I'll send you a fact sheet on how to do this, but you basically, if you just click where it says click to create a new task, you can type in a task there straight away, which could be, in fact, I'll do this, send fact sheets to FLS group. All right, so it's in my to-do list. And once I've done that, if I click enter, it's now gone into my to-do list for today. So you can just click in there and add a task straight away. No worries for those that have to jump, I understand. I'll watch the rest of the video. And for those that don't have to rush off, just stick around and I'll just help those people that updated their inbox. So effectively what you can do is just add your own tasks in here to this to-do bar. And just really quickly, to change the date on anything. So let's say that fact sheet, I wasn't going to do that till tomorrow. I couldn't do it till tomorrow. I can, thanks Karen. If you click on any date in here, now that you've got the date showing, if you left click, it'll actually bring the date, a little date column up, and you can actually click on the calendar navigation tool and actually select when. So you can actually create it and then select it for a period of time. So it's a fantastic tool to make sure that you don't forget things. You can pop it back as long as you want.
Jeff, can I ask a question?
Sure.
How do you, so at the moment, my view is like the tasks are opening up kind of like in a separate window. Like
Yeah.
I like how you've got the tasks and the emails next to each other like that.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So you mean, is this happening? Is that what you're saying?
No, it's more like you know how like if you click calendar, it's going to open on a separate.
Yes. So
Okay.
you're saying you've made your adjustments in here, have you?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. You can do that. What we did then, we can do that. That's the same view actually. The to-do list view is the same view.
Yep.
All right. So as long as you're in tasks and you're viewing to-do list, it's the same view.
Yep.
On your mail screen, what you can do in this is the to-do bar. So this is up under view.
Oh, yeah.
And go across to to-do bar.
Okay. Yep. Yep.
And just turn on tasks.
Okay. Cool.
And then if you make those adjustments I said in here, Jennifer, then that it's handy to have your emails and your to-dos.
Yep.
All in one.
Yep.
And I know we're running out of time, but actually the other thing you can do is if you go to your calendar screen and you can actually go to calendar screen, go to view and across to the to-do bar again, turn on tasks there. Now doesn't matter what screen you're on, you've always got your to-dos in front of you.
Yeah.
So what I find, sorry, Anna, just to call you out really quickly, you said you've tried it. For those that have tried this before and it hasn't worked, what I find really helpful is to have, first you've got to sort of muck around to get used to this, but once it's there on this screen in particular, if I get rid of this one here, what I tend to do is, like I know I've got to book a hotel, I've actually got to do some travel. So I got to do that today. So I can drag a task and drop it into my calendar. So you can drag tasks and drop it into your calendar. And that's what I really love, where I can go, okay, I've got a bit of time on Wednesday, so drag some things that I need to work on, which is what I've done here. Drag things from my to-do list into my calendar.
Jeff, and to get emails into your to-do list, is that where you flag them?
That's right.
Yeah.
So that's where we're just run out of time. So this last one then, Anna, if I opened up this one that I said, oh, I need to follow this up later. So I open this up and go, oh, I can't deal with it straight away. Instead of just if I left click on that, it drops it straight into my to-do bar. And what I do now with that, I don't need it. I don't leave it in my inbox. I actually go, you know what? That can actually go into another folder now because it's in my to-do list. Yeah. So that's how I manage it. So that actually then, Anna, is just the email. It's not a copy of the email. It's just viewing it in my to-do bar.
Okay.
So that's exactly how I do it. And then I've got all the functionality of the to-do bar, either with a task or with an email flag. So yes, that is just an email flag, but yeah, basically you can do whatever you have to do with it from there.
Thank you.
So I apologize. Yeah, that we didn't quite get as much through as we wanted, but I've got a couple of fact sheets that are now on my to-do list to send to you. One is how to set this up, the to-do bar up. So that'll actually be a link to my website because I've got that on the website. The fact sheet will be how to set the to-do bar up, just in case, for those that didn't get there. Know that you can add a lot of other columns in there and customize those columns. So you might use status or whatever. There's this myriad of them. Just experiment with the columns. But once they're in there, the last thing to do really is to be able to mark them complete. So that one in the know, when I've done that, oh, well done, Megan. Tops. I love it. Once I've finished this one, you can right click on it and mark them complete. So that's just a flag, mark it complete. I've already filed it, so I don't need to worry about it. I've done it. This afternoon, when I send you these fact sheets, I'll right click, mark complete. So it's a quick way of yeah, I just don't use a paper list anymore. I use my electronic list all the time. And there's so many more things I could add to this, but at least try that. If you've got any questions, feel free to email me. I'm going to keep in touch now with the group for the next month anyway. So I'll be sharing some more information with you. And if you've got any questions, you can answer my emails. But yeah, well done, Megan. That's great. But I think there was still someone else who had to. So stick around if you want me to help you. I'll stop the video now and then help people because we may have to share screens or whatever. But it's been great working with you. I hope you've picked up some stuff that you can use differently. And thank you for the opportunity to work with you all. So I'll send you a copy of a link to the recording. Remember, it's just for you guys, so for no one else. I noticed that I think I can look at not who's viewed it, but I can look at the number of views, and I think 10 or 11 people viewed the last one, so I knew that people had caught up with it. So I'll just keep it up for a month, and then I'll just delete it. So which saves my hard drive space too, by the way, because I'm starting to build up a library of all these things. I get them off and get them into YouTube, and then I just delete it out of there later. So thank you. It's been a pleasure working with you all. Keep in touch. I'll certainly keep in touch with you. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
Stop the recording somewhere.
Thanks, Jeff.
And those that want to stick around,